Hello and welcome to CGNgames and this surprise unboxing of Resident Evil 2 Remake for the PS4. So this thing is being sold out for quite a long time. I had this pre-ordered and I actually planned on giving it to somebody else, but they actually managed to pick one up. So I've got it and I'm really excited about the game, but the contents of this I wasn't too sure about. But I'm excited to have it now and I'm excited to open it. So we're going to see what's inside, see if it's actually worth it. This will be an interesting one because at the end of it, we'll see if I actually want to keep this or not. But I'm really interested to see what's inside, so let's get straight to it. Okay then, let's get started on this very sought after Resident Evil 2 Remake Collector's Edition. So this is the sort of out of box. It's a little bit smaller than I anticipated. It is quite heavy though, so there's the front, there's the side. There we have the contents of all the stuff that we're going to be getting inside. I'm most interested in these keys. I think they are going to look really cool. Got loads of DLC and stuff. There's the side. Nothing interesting on the bottom. So this is supposed to resemble a crate from the a weapons crate out of the game. I'm just going to get this knife so I can get it open. I'm going to try and attempt to get these off without having to actually rip the stickers. They are the nice big seals that are quite easy to pull up in case you were trying to reseal it, if you like. Okay. Oh, there we go. And then we've got one on either side of the bottom one's two. I say that. I think I do. There we go. Okay, so which way up does this go? It goes this way. All right, so now we've got this off, it looks a little bit more like the crate. Move this around this way. This is where the back is. So it's just got the same design all the way around, and that kind of looks like what you would imagine the bottom to be like. But it's sort of hard cardboard, but I wouldn't say it was like the most incredible thing ever. But it's cool nonetheless. If we open the lid, open it like this. Now this has got a cool little design. So you've got this big confidential leaflet. Well, leaflet, I don't know what you call it. Document on the top. And then this says warning, authorization required to read this file. So let's start with the big confidential file. Let's try and get this out of the top of the lid. It's really in there. I'm not sure how. It's actually stuck on, which I think is, wow. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on the camera, but oh gosh, that is not good. That is a terrible. Okay, so I don't think that's actually supposed to come out for a start. It's kind of glued on at the back, which is just a really odd decision because you kind of left to open it out like this, if you can see that on the camera. I have no idea why they've done that. And it's actually just a really big envelope, so it doesn't even fill it. That is just weird. I have no idea what we were thinking with that. So it's not really supposed to come out, which is fine, but it just serves a bit of a weird purpose. So first we've got our DLC. So we've got a load of basically different costumes. I'm not that bothered about that, but there you go. And you also get a Samurai Edge Albert model. If you pre-order, you actually got a Samurai Edge for each, for Claire and for Leon as well. So they all kind of look similar, but there you go. I don't think the DLC is that crazy, but there you go. Some of you might be more excited than I am about that. Next we've got this big poster. And the poster is of the Raccoon City Police Department, which if you play the demo, this is where you would have, the location you would have been playing at. And this looks pretty cool. The quality of the paper is quite nice. And it's kind of like the planned sort of like outline of the building. It's a nice little thing. It's got some writing around the outside as well, like some notes that have been made on it. But yeah, that's quite a good quality piece. So next, we're going to be getting into whatever this is. So yeah, I just find that bizarre that this top bit doesn't actually open. But what can you do? And whoa, that's really in there. Okay, so let's look at this. So this is the art book. Again, the way this actually looked on when they showed it off the first time, it looked way bigger than this. So I'm a little bit confused to what's actually happened here. But there you go. This is still a nice size, but this is kind of supposed to, again, supposed to look like an official document, I guess. So start flicking through some of the pages. So we've got like some stuff from the city, some sort of film pictures. Yeah, so it's kind of like a sort of like a case file. It's supposed to look like, and it is kind of cool. I'm happy it's not just, to be honest with you, just an art book full of zombies falling apart, which is what I kind of expected. But it's actually kind of useful and kind of gives you like what you imagine a police officer would be given or something like that, you know what I mean? So that's a nice little thing. It would be cool to go through all of that and see all the information. Sorry about my voice, it's a little bit crackly today. Next, why don't we jump straight into the game, which is at the top. So you get this exclusive steelbook. From what my understanding, there was no other way to get this steelbook. So usually you get a deluxe version or something that comes with the steelbook. This seems to be the only way you can get it. So let's open it up. Okay, so you've got a lovely sort of disfigured face there, if you're into that sort of thing. This is an 18, of course, so it's to be expected. And then there's some bits of artwork really on the back. Let's take the sleeve off, and then you get that lovely zombie face, a bit more clearer, and then you've got the Umbrella logo on the back. And then we open this up, and just make sure that we've got any DLC in it. Nope. So there's the disc, we've got a little leaflet there, and on the inside you've got Raccoon City. So that's actually, the inside is a really nice steelbook. I'm not sure who would really just want that face sitting on your shelf, but there you go. Let's put that back. Next, we shall have a look, just so you can see how it sort of comes out. We'll have the soundtrack next. So it comes in a little cardboard sleeve like that. With your typical Resident Evil typewriter on the front, and this has a grand total of 25 songs, so this is quite a comprehensive soundtrack, which is cool. And then there is the disc. So that's pretty cool, and it's got ink ribbon. It says for typewriters. So that's a nice little nod to Resident Evil stuff. That's pretty cool. Again, I'm not sure how good, if this is the sort of soundtrack you just want to listen to, if it's just going to be like horror music. I don't know if there's people out there who love to just sit there and listen to horror music in the spare time. There you go. Next, this is the bit that I am most intrigued at, just because most collector's editions comes with your typical art book, steelbook game, that sort of thing, and a poster. This is really unique, and that's what I'm really interested in. This is the item that I was interested from the start. But before we do that, here is the Made in Heaven pin badge. So actually, when I was younger, we started a band that we almost called Made in Heaven. Would you believe it? But there is a pin badge, which is apparently a nod to Claire Redfield. I say a nod, that's her thing. So that is the pin badge for that. It's quite nice. I'm not that into pins, if I'm honest, but there you go. But here we are. This is the bit that I am most intrigued by, and it's these keys. And this is exclusive to the European version. It doesn't actually come in the North American version, which has got to annoy some people. I don't know why companies sometimes do this. Sometimes us in Europe get less than the North American versions. It's bizarre how it happens, but I don't know why they've done that. But it comes in this cool box. It is cardboard. It is not wood. It's just made to look like wood, and it's a nice little box, to be honest. Let's open up the box if I can. This is it's a very thin sort of gap to open it up in. Okay, so I wish they kind of gave you a bit of an easy way of opening it. I actually kind of had to dig my finger in there to get it, but here we go. And there we have the keys. That was kind of falling out. But they look so cool. So these are the keys to the Raccoon City Police Department. So again, if you play the demo, you would have gone around and collected a few of these. But these are, I can confirm, they're not heavy metal, but they are actually metal, I think. So I think they might be like metal plated. I don't think they're metal all the way through, but then the actual, I'm just putting that up as if it's to the light. The I think, are these translucent? I can't really tell if they're translucent, but they are actually really better than what I expected. I thought it was just going to be rubbish plastic, but it does seem to have some metal in there. But they are very light, so they're not like heavy, like real keys, obviously. But yeah, they look great. There you go, you can hear the metal on them, but they look really cool. So if you can get a hold of the European version, I definitely recommend it, because I actually think so far these are the most interesting things that you can get in them. There's that one. But they are cool. That's definitely my favourite piece out of this. Now, let's try our hand at getting in to the most anticipated part of this collector's edition, which is of course the statue. From the pictures I've seen, I haven't been blown away about what this statue looks like. I don't think it looks that incredible. It's a very standard pose, but it did look quite detailed, so I am intrigued to see how good this actually is. So this is what most people wanted the collector's edition for. Let's get into it and see what we've got. Okay. So this is quite weighty for what it is. Okay, I love that new smell of figurines and statues, and it's definitely got a strong smell of that. So let's get into these statues. Okay, we've got the tape off, so let's take this off. Okay, so here is the main bulk of the statue. We've got the torch and the gun side there. Okay, so it does have a little bit of assembly. And there's more tape on the bottom. So this is very secure, to be honest. Okay, so there's the base. So this base is hollow plastic. If you can hear that, it's not particularly great. And wow, are you kidding me? Okay, so this actual nameplate here is actually just a sticker, and mine was actually coming off on the corner there, so that's not great. But yeah, this is like, doesn't weigh anything at all, it's just hollow plastic. So then if we get the main part of the statue out. So I do have to say, looking at this is an extremely detailed figurine here. You can see all of the lines on the clothes, and the texture is quite impressive. The walkie-talkie comes out, which is nice. Yeah, the actual figurine itself is very detailed. Now let's get the gun on his hands. This looks like it's going to be a pain, so I will try and get these on, and then I'll be back to you in just a second. Okay, so we've got it all together now, and here you have it. Now, as I expected, that gun was a pain to get in the hand, and you won't be able to see this probably because it is so tiny, but I had a very tiny piece of it actually come off. I don't know if you can see that at all on my hand. I don't even know where it came from, but something came off. I heard the noise of it hit the table. But anyway, let's get this on the base. If I can. So here is the statue fully assembled. I'll have some really nice close-up shots for you to see. My overall impressions are, I mean, in terms of him as a figurine, he looks great. It looks, the detail on it is quite amazing. I don't think I've ever quite seen that much detail on like clothes and stuff on a figurine before. It is very impressive. It's just the base is so cheap. It is unreal. So you've got this really amazing detailed statue of Leon, and it's just kind of ruined by this really cheap base. And the worst part for me is that nameplate, which looks really cool, is just a sticker, and it just feels cheap. But then you've got this really sort of expensive feeling statue above it. So it's kind of a mixed bag, really. And if you actually just put it down and look at it, it does look really good. And it's actually surprised me a lot. I think it's actually really impressive. So my overall impressions are, it's like really good, but it's not at the same time. They just really needed to improve this base. It needed to be a little bit weightier, and then that nameplate needed to be a lot better than it actually is. But overall, if you are a Resident Evil fan and you really wanted a really good Leon figurine, this is it, I guess. Is it worth the money overall? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. The statue is really cool. Again, it could have been a lot better. The soundtrack, I don't know how much I'm going to want to listen to a horror zombie themed soundtrack in my spare time, but whatever. The steelbook is okay. Again, I wish it was, I don't know, I wish that the design was a little bit more intriguing, but it is what it is. The DLC is all right. The pin badge is fairly pointless, I feel. The poster is kind of cool, although I don't think it's really the sort of thing you display unless you're a major Resident Evil fan and you love putting design plans of the police department up on your wall. But some people might be into that. The art book, I think, is really cool. It's a little bit smaller than I thought it was, but nonetheless. And the keys, I think, such a great idea. I've got to give them credit for the keys, I think. I wish the box was a little bit easy to open, but other than that, this is something that I think is so awesome. I think this is something that's cool to display. It's something that's unique from the game. That I think when you're playing the game and you sort of see them on your shelf, you're like, that's really cool. So overall, as a package, I mean, the box is cool as well. Don't forget about the box. As a package, it's really good. I think this needed to be probably £100 less, if I'm honest. Although it's difficult because the statue is such high quality, but the base isn't. But I do think it should have been significantly cheaper than what it actually is. I don't think it's worth the overall money. So if you're somebody who missed out on the pre-order, if you got a pre-order and you've got it, great. If you're a major Resident Evil fan, you probably think it's worth it. But if you missed out on a pre-order and you're sort of looking at those insane inflated eBay prices, I'd just say just don't buy it for anything over what the original price is, because it's really not worth it. So I just hold out and see if one comes up. So I know that the person who I said who was going to get this off me, they got a text just saying we've got it in stock. Come and get it. So if you're lucky enough, somebody might have just not picked up theirs and you could go and get it perhaps after a couple of days, but do not pay the inflated price because it is 100% not worth it. But I'm excited to play the game anyway, and I think this is a really cool little collector's edition. So thanks for joining us, and we'll move straight on. So we hope you enjoyed that unboxing of the Resident Evil 2 Remake Collector's Edition. We're going to have loads of gameplay up. Our thoughts will be on the Late Night Gaming show next week. I'm really interested to see what you think of this Collector's Edition. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you absolutely hated it, of course, you can give it a thumbs down too. And if you want to see loads more unboxings, gameplay, our shows, loads of stuff going on, please hit that subscribe button. And if you hit the bell button, you'll be notified of every new video that we put out when it drops. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you very, very soon. Bye.